You ask a question to your virtual classroom, and the response is absolute silence. Just a ticking clock and blank screens. Or maybe you get the opposite problem. Everyone talks over each other at once. Or you end up hearing from the exact same two vocal participants every single session, while the rest of the room hides. Consistent, meaningful participation doesn't happen by chance. It has to be engineered. The way you construct and deliver your questions dictates exactly how your learners will respond. The question framing guide provides the specific procedural steps for this process, detailing how to select tools and structure prompts for maximum clarity. Grab a lesson plan you're working on right now. We are going to build a high-engagement interaction together, step by step. Mastering this framing technique establishes the two-way flow of information necessary for a functional virtual classroom. Step 1 is drafting the question itself. Before you ask anything, make sure the prompt explicitly serves your session's specific learning objectives. Keep the discussion relevant to the goal. Next, decide on your strategic intent. If you want to stimulate deep thinking and rich discussion, use an open-ended question. If you need to gather specific data quickly, use a closed-ended question. Look at this text comparison. Asking a vague question like, "Thoughts on engagement?" leaves learners guessing what you want. But a sharp, targeted question like, "What's one challenge you face engaging learners online?" gives them a clear, specific path to answer. Ambiguity is the enemy of participation. If a learner has to spend mental energy figuring out what you are asking, they are highly likely to stay quiet. Clarity is your required foundation. Without a tightly drafted question, even the most sophisticated virtual classroom software cannot manufacture real engagement. Now that we have our prompt, we have to collect the answers. A common error is opening the floor and telling everyone to just unmute their microphones, regardless of how complex the question is. You need to match the cognitive intent of your specific question to the correct native tool in your virtual platform. This matrix maps your options. Use reactions for a simple binary choice. Use polls to track anonymous responses. For qualitative input, chat works perfectly for brief, open-ended thoughts. Whiteboards are ideal for visual mapping. Raise hand is for verbal discussions. Here, we'll select chat. Choosing the right tool dictates the physical way your learner interacts. It creates a defined, equitable channel tailored to the exact type of response you asked for. Next, tell your learners exactly how to use that tool. Script your delivery instructions so there is no confusion. Tell them, type one short phrase in the chat. Then comes the hardest part of virtual facilitation, the intentional pause. You must remain completely silent for a full 10 seconds. Your learners need this time to process your prompt, formulate their thoughts, and type them out. Waiting in total silence creates tension. Your instinct will be to start talking again to fill that dead air. You must ruthlessly resist that urge. Holding that silence proves to the room that you actually expect an answer. It shifts the responsibility of the interaction entirely onto the audience. When the answers start rolling in, simply saying "good job" is not enough. You have to actively weave those responses back into the lesson. We call this a soft call. Review the chat to summarize common themes, and then invite specific learners to verbally expand on the thoughts they just typed. Link those insights directly back to your objective. This data is your diagnostic tool. The Inquirer Engagement Framework plots response quantity, speed, and volume against quality, thoughtfulness, and accuracy. High quantity shows environmental and emotional engagement. High quality indicates intellectual engagement with the material. Analyzing this immediate feedback loop lets you measure the health of your classroom instantly, so you can adapt your teaching strategy on the fly. Let's review the architecture of the question we just built. We wrote precise wording, selected a targeted virtual tool, delivered clear instructions, and planned a definitive strategy to connect the responses to the content. By following this structure, you eliminate the awkward silence. You provide an accessible, equitable way for every single person to participate, not just the loudest voices in the room. Every learner now has a clear, accessible path to contribute, allowing the group to move through the content as a single, synchronized cohort. To get started, download the official question framing guide from InSync training and use it to design the interactions for your next session. Engagement requires intentional design. By framing your questions with precision, You eliminate the structural barriers that typically keep a virtual audience silent.